Good morning and welcome to Fast Horses Today. Today is Saturday. It is November 23rd, and we've got some horses to go over here at Del Mar. I've got a couple win bets, as well as a late pick 5 ticket that I'm going to play at Del Mar. So let's get started today. Going to skip over the first few races and going to go over to the 5th race where the late pick 5 starts. Now the pick 5 starts at approximately 4:28 Central Time, so 2:28 there Pacific in the 5th race. 5th race being a 5 furlong grass race for starter allowance. And, kudos to Del Mar for putting together a big field here in the first leg of the pick 5 and a pretty competitive, tough field. So it's so tough that I don't really have a strong opinion. I feel like a lot of horses have a shot, and even a couple of the long shots, being the 1 and the 2, can have their say in this race because they've got a ton of speed and they've got the inside position. So I don't like either of those two, but I do think that they can have a say in the outcome of this race. So be that I don't have a strong opinion, I'm going to put 7 horses here to get this started because I just can't split this race. I'm going to put the 3, Kid Azteca. I'm going to put the 4, who is Bee Catcher. The Bee Catcher, interesting, this horse had been running in the longest races imaginable over in Southern California, like the San Juan Capistrano, and now Doug O'Neill puts this horse in a 5 furlong grass sprint. Makes me wonder, maybe that's what this horse wants to do at 8-1. Going to put the 5 horse, Without Borders. The 5 horse being by Air Force Blue. And going to give a shout out to my buddy Johnny Dimes. He loves those Air Force Blue horses. So we'll see if you can get this one in, Johnny. The 5 horse, Without Borders, at 7-2. Going to put the 6 horse, Gregory's Pride. This horse has some back class maybe he could reach into and storm past this field of starter allowance horses. Going to put the 7, Rexford, the 8, Lonesome Stew, and the 9, Yakolev. So that's the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. All right, let's move over to the next race of the day. Next race being the 6th race. This is a 5.5 furlong dirt affair, and this is a $50,000 California maiden claiming race. So, these are horses that several of them have connections have just given up on their horse right away. They put them in these claiming races. So, it makes you wonder. Some of them really aren't even worth 50, but they're putting them in here as a start. But anyway, I've got 2 horses here that I want to put in. I'm going to put the 5 Makayama. Actually, I think it's Mayakama, who's the program favorite at 9-5. This is for Jeff Mullins and Juan Hernandez. This horse has 2 starts to her career. She started out in the summertime over at Del Mar in a maiden special weight, ran a pretty nice race to come 3rd. And you figure there would be some improvement there. They ended up dropping the horse into a $50,000 claiming race over at Santa Anita back in October. And, she improved big time in her speed figure. And also, she ran a really nice race. She ran 2nd to Wishes to Riches. So Wishes to Riches was really ready that day, coming off some nice effort. So it's going to be hard to beat that horse. Mayakama, I thought, did a nice job. She runs a race similar to that. I think she rolls over this field. No secret, 9-5. Juan Hernandez on the horse. I'm also going to put the 7 horse. This being a first starter, Diva Cat from Mark Glatt and Diego Herrera. Now, Glatt has certainly done well with first starters, and this horse shows some decent works. Interestingly enough, this horse is a Kentucky bred running with Calbred. So this horse, being by Cat Burglar, being a California sire, so when they do their paperwork, this horse qualifies to run in these Calbred races. So this being a Kentucky bred, but eligible to run in this race. That's Diva Cat. That's the 7 horse at 5-1. So I've got the 5 and the 7 here. All right, let's move over to the next race of the day. Next race being the 7th race. There's another 5 furlong grass race. These are for California allowance horses. These are boys, 3-year-olds and up. And big field signed on here too. So, nice to have these big fields here. So I've got 2 horses here as well as a win bet. I'm going to put the 2 horse who is Uncle John for Peter Urton. Kazushi Kimura takes the call. Now this horse does come off a win in a claiming race at Santa Anita at 6.5 on that flat grass, 6.5. Nice speed figure. I just think, in these Calbreds, these things seem to be, fairly wide open, on a day-to-day basis. Uncle John at 8-1, could be a factor here for pick 5 purposes. And I'm going to go with the 5 horse, Double Jab, who I also am going to bet to win. Now, Double Jab is 3-1 in the program from Andy Mathis Barn and Armando Ayuso on the horse. Now, these guys have paired up to do a lot of nice work and get some wins. 3-1, as I mentioned. Double Jab has run really well on the Del Mar 5 furlong grass course, having a win last year, and then even this summer, running some nice races. Had Kent DeSormo on his back this past summer, and DeSormo rode the horse okay, and it just, it seems like nowadays with DeSormo, you just don't know what DeSormo's going to do on a horse. I mean, he could look as stylish as ever, and then other times he just kind of runs in the middle of the pack and leaves bettors frustrated. So anyway, DeSormo's not riding this horse. I'm glad to see Ayuso on the horse because Ayuso really busts his butt and makes some good rides. So double jab, 3-1. Going to make a win bet on double jab, as well as putting the 2 and the 5 here in the pick 5. All right, now let's go to the next race of the day. Next race being the feature. Now this is the 8th race of the day, mile and an eighth, the Native Diver, which is a grade 3 nowadays. So they've got a pretty competitive field here in this race, and it's so competitive that I'm going to put 4 out of the 6 horses in this race. So I'm going to put the 1 horse, who was Miramati. Miramati has had, we've talked about this horse. This horse has struggled to break his maiden, but sometimes you see horses like this, what they call the light bulb angle. So he won his last race running long. And maybe this is just what the horse has been wanting to do the whole time, is run 2 turns, longer the better. Can't you see this horse maybe winning? And they're talking to Baffert, and Baffert saying, we thought this horse was great all along. He realizes $1 million purchase price. So I'll put this horse in. Martin Garcia into ride. Garcia certainly gets the best out of a horse. He's 6-1. We'll put Miramati in. Then I'll also put the other Baffert, being the 2 horse, Ultra Power. Now this horse is 2-1 in the program, Juan Hernandez. This horse, from breeding alone, should be a standout. By Curlin out of the great race mare, Unique Bella. This horse has shown some nice races, has 2 wins out of 5 starts, does have a big win over at Del Mar this past summer. And then, kind of a head scratcher last time at Santa Anita, getting beaten by Tarantino, who's also in this race. But, you look at the stride on this horse, Ultra Power, and this horse is one of the best strides you'll see. I ask you to go look at film of this horse, and you'll just like what you see. It's a big gray horse and just strides out nicely. So we'll put Ultra Power in here. And also put the 3 horse, who is Skinner, for John Sheriffs and Hector Barrios. This horse is 5-1 in the program. Now this horse comes off 1 race off a layoff. His 1 race was back in the on Friday of Breeders' Cup weekend. They put this horse in a 6.5 furlong sprint race. So this is just kind of a comebacker. The horse hadn't been out in about a year. The horse ran a great race, running second to Red Flag. And Red Flag is a really, really sharp horse right now in Southern California on the sprint circuit. So, this horse coming second to Red Flag, certainly no shame there. And, this horse looks like he wants to run long. So that was just kind of a tune-up race there. So 5-1 Skinner at a mile and an eighth. This horse can come running late. Then I'm going to also put the 6 horse, who is Mixto. Now, Mixto is your defending Pacific Classic winner at a big price, 22-1. And, horse ran a great race that day. I know that the O'Neill barn always liked this horse. They've always put this horse in big races, graded races, and got it done in that Grade 1 Pacific Classic. So I followed it up with a subpar effort in the Breeders' Cup Classic, but, that was a tough race. So we'll just give that horse a pass. Freysu takes the call. So Kyle Frey's off, which, I'm going to remember that. That's an interesting thing that Frey is off this horse. They're putting Freysu back on. You got to wonder why O'Neill's making that decision, and Frey hasn't really been riding that well. So 5-2 on Mixto. So I'm going to put the 1, 2, 3, and 6, and that's in the Native Diver. All right, now let's go to the last race of the day. Last race of the day is the 9th race. There's a maiden special weight, a mile on the grass, and these are 3-year-olds and up. And I've got 2 horses here, and I also have a win bet. So I'm going to go with the 1 and the 2 for pick 5 purposes, and I'm going to make a win bet on the 1. The 1 being Over the Ocean for Jonathan Thomas and Augustin Stables. And Thomas brings this guy, Vincent Chaminade, to ride the horse. Well, they've done some good work. They, get together out east a lot and in the Midwest. So this horse is 4-1. We've seen Jonathan Thomas bring some nice horses over to Del Mar for Augustin Stables. So always nice to see this outfit come out west and do well. And, they just have some nice horses. So when they, end up traveling west, they show up well. So from the 1 hole, I can see Over the Ocean getting a really nice trip and running well. And looking at his film, this horse has a lot of ability, has run kind of greenly and run kind of baby-like. I'm betting that this horse puts it all together at 4-1. That's the one over the ocean. And I'm also going to put the 2 horse, who is Mysterious Husband, from Mark Glatt, Antonio Fresu. This is the program favorite at 5-2. Putting this horse in just off his last race. The horse ran lights out last time. Not exactly sure where this effort came from. I see Glatt must really like this horse. He put him in for a claim. Horse got claimed out of that race, and claimed by Doug O'Neill. Doug O'Neill put the horse back in the same level, and Glatt claimed the horse right back. So they must really like this horse, to bring the horse back. But I'll put this horse in because I couldn't forgive myself if I have a live pick 5 ticket and this horse ends up beating me. So I'm going to put the 1 and the 2. Don't really have much use for the rest of the field there, so I'm just hoping the 1 or the 2 gets it done, and really more so the 1 horse because I've got the win bet on the 1 horse. So let's recap the day and recap the tickets. All right, so let's recap the day. We got the late pick 5, which starts in the 5th race. We're going wide open that first leg. Got the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. With 5, 7. With 2, 5. With 1, 2, 3, 6. With the 1 and 2 at the end. And then we've got the win bets. In the 7th race, win bet on the 5, double jab. And then the 9th race, win bet on the 1 over the ocean. So as always, you can play the ticket as is. If you want to add or subtract, and play the pick 3s, play the pick 4 within it. So I'm sorry, I failed to mention that pick 5 ticket is $112 today. So as always, if you want to see fit, you play it as is, add or subtract, play the pick 3s within it, play the pick 4s within it, or if you want to make the win bets, I wish you the luck of all on whatever you end up doing today. Let's get some good trips, because good trips will result in good luck and, will result in wins more often. So let's wish the folks over at Del Mar a great safe day of racing. As always, I'd ask you to do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button. Doesn't cost you anything. Just puts you on the feed when new content gets served up. Like, dislike, make some comments. I appreciate any comments, and I will respond to any and all things. Let's create a discussion. So as always, thank you so much for watching. Best of luck to you. Let's have a great day at Del Mar, where the turf meets the surf.